Hi, guys, I'm Sincerely Keanu, and I help people grow forward. And what I mean by that is change is one of those inevitable things that we all encounter. And a lot of times, the changes that happen in our lives aren't ideal, they are not necessarily what we want. It's just part of transition, and life is full of transition. Well, I help people learn to grow forward from whatever experiences they have so that they can live that life of purpose, passion, and fulfillment. And today we're going to talk about power, your power, claiming your personal power. And I'm going to give you tips and tools, 3, that will help you to claim your personal power so that you can live the life that you want and the life that you deserve. So let's talk about power. We all have a lot of power in our lives, but we give it away. And when I say that, I mean, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and paid for a meal, but you didn't actually want to go to that restaurant? You went to that restaurant because someone else persuaded you to go with them, or the rest of the group or everyone else wanted to go to that restaurant, and it's not even a restaurant you like. But not only did you go, you paid for food at a restaurant that you didn't care for. Or how many times have you gone to see a movie that you really didn't want to go see? And you paid for that. And the reason I keep saying what you paid for is because I'm trying to illustrate how you give away your power. Those are generic references, but not only did you give away your power, you paid to do so. I mean, you gave it away so completely that you were willing to spend money on the desires and dreams of someone else, on someone else's whim, on someone else's want, not even something that you wanted. And that's what I mean about giving away our personal power. We give our power away in the workplace. How many times have you been voluntold, and I'm not talking about by a supervisor, but by someone that not necessarily had that much pull over you, but they kind of convinced you that, yeah, we should do this. And it was like extra. And it was something that was going to be time consuming. It was something that you really didn't have time for, but because they gave you a new deadline, you went ahead and did that. Stayed extra, stayed later when you really didn't want to. Not that you're being paid for it, but you just to finish a job. How many times have you done things that you didn't want to do at the coercion of someone else, or someone else persuaded you to do, or someone else guilted you into doing it? I'm guilty. I have babysat when I really didn't want to babysit. But I'm like, well, I really don't have anything else to do, and they do need somebody to keep their kids. That's not my responsibility. But I did it. So we give our power away. We give away our power to say no. We give away our power to choose what we would like to do. We give away our power so much, and it becomes so easy to do it that give yourself 20 years down the line, you realize that you negotiated most of your life away. You've been places you didn't want to go. You've done things you didn't necessarily want to do, all on the hopes of pleasing someone else. And I want you to ask yourself a question. When you're putting your needs on the back burner, and you're putting someone else's needs before your own, and they're putting their needs before your own, where are your needs? When you relegate yourself to the back burner, everyone else will do the same. And you give away your power to live a fulfilled life, because you find that you're doing so many things that you don't want to do, that eventually you'll be living a life that you don't want to live. And that's where the first step to claiming your personal power comes from. It's accepting. Accept what is. That's the first step. Admitting that's like admitting you have a problem is half of the battle. So accepting what really is the first step to claiming your personal power. Be real about it. Be honest. As people say, keep it 100. Be real about where you are. Be real about what you give away. You know, be real about how you allow someone else's priority to become your priority, so that the things that you thought were important are no longer even in existence because you've negotiated that away. Let me give you an instance. I'm sorry. Whatever happened to your dream? You know, that thing that you wanted to do when you got out of school, or when you got married. Whatever happened to your dream? Are you living your dream? Are you doing that thing that you always dreamed about doing? If not, what happened? 9 times out of 10, you gave away your power. You negotiated your life away. Now, granted, life happens. Sometimes, you get married, children come, and you end up taking a temporary job to make ends meet, and that temporary job, 15 years later, you're still at that temporary job. You never got to be that thing that you wanted to be, that architect or that doctor, or whatever it was that you dreamed of doing your entire life. Now you're just existing. That's what it looks like when you give away your power. You're just existing. So accept what is. Be honest, look at the situation and say, hey, this isn't the job I want. I'm not doing the thing I thought I was going to be doing. This isn't the house I want, or this isn't the life I want. I'm not happy doing this. Accept what it is. Be honest about what's happening and where you stand. What's going on? Are you in the job you want? Are you in the relationship you want to be in? Be honest. Just accept it. Okay, my relationship sucks. Or this job is horrible. It's trash. Accept that. That's the first step. The second step is accountability. That's the one that's a little harder than accepting what is, because now you have to look at the part you played and why you are where you are. Because we're all where we are in our lives based on decisions that we've made. You decided yourself into that situation. You made choices to get yourself there. So be that as it may, there are a lot of times outside circumstances, outside situations that we feel have put us where we are. When in actuality, a lot of times we're where we are based on the decisions that we've made. Now, we might have made decisions where we didn't feel like we had much of a choice, but we actually did have a choice. That other choice probably wasn't as appealing. It may have been the lesser of two evils, or it may have been the only other choice that you thought there was. So you made this choice as opposed to that choice, and you're still in a situation that you don't want to be in. You're still not living, you're just existing. You're going through the motions, as they say. So once you've accepted where you are, you've acknowledged that you played a part in it, you're honest about, yeah, I made this decision to be here. Like, hypothetically, you're in a relationship you don't want to be in. This person has broken your heart more times than you care to count. No, they broke your heart once. All those other times, you broke your heart because you stayed. So be honest about where you are. I run into people sometimes and they're in their 30s or 40s, let's go with mid 40s. And it's like, well, why do you automatically look for the bad, or why do you automatically think that a person is criticizing you when they ask you a question? Oh, well, that just comes because my mom used to do it when I was a little girl. Sweetie, no offense. I mean, you've got young looking skin. However, you're in your 40s. Things that happened to you as a child should not still be governing your life as an adult, i.e., my mom was very critical of me. So I think anytime anyone says something to me that's not exactly what I want to hear, they're just automatically criticizing me. That's not necessarily so. So that's where be accountable for where you are. Your parents probably do have a jurisdiction over your early adult life, because you're still making decisions based on the values that they gave you. But further on in your life, at some point, your decisions has to be made on things you want or things you desire or who you are. If you're still making decisions in your mid 40s, early 50s based on the way somebody made you feel in the third grade, you need a NIST. And when I say NIST, I mean a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, some kind of IST, so you can get over that trauma, so that you can move and grow forward. Because you can't grow forward. You can't move forward if you're looking back. Now, granted, you can walk forward if you're looking backwards. However, give yourself time enough, you're going to bump into something. So I'm trying to help you learn to grow out of your situation. But you do have to acknowledge part of growth is, acknowledging the part you play in it. I was in a volatile relationship with my boyfriend and, we just fought all the time. Well, sweetie, at some point, you stayed. That volatile relationship can't continue if you're no longer in it. That job you hate going to can't continue to pay you unless you continue to go. So if you're in a job that you don't like, find another job. You found a job when you were looking for one. That's how you found that one. Get another job. Which leads me to action, which is the third step in claiming your personal power. You've got to do something. The whole saying, if you want something different, do something different, that is so true. You've got to do something. I have a friend that he's from Georgia, somewhere in the South, somewhere in Georgia. And one of his phrases was, a hit dog will holler, but a hurt dog will move. And it's true. When you find people that are always lamenting or always complaining about things, they're not acting. They're not taking action to change that thing. Because when you're busy moving forward, when you're busy in action, you don't have time to complain. So in claiming your personal power, you have to accept what is so that you can see the situation fully, completely, and wholly. Then you have to acknowledge the part you played in the situation you're in. And then and only then, when because this requires a lot of honesty, a lot of transparency. You've looked at what it is. You've, claimed your part in it. You own your own crap. Now you're ready to move, because once you own your own crap, it helps you to make sound decisions, because your decisions aren't based on, oh, they treated me this way, oh, this job sucks and I just don't know what to do. Find another job. So if you don't have the skill set to have that job that you want, what should you do? Take action. Start to take some classes in the evenings so that you can gain that skill set to put you in the position for the job that you want. Oh, you don't like the relationship you're in. Get out of the relationship. Okay, yeah, sounds easier said than done. But trust me, honey, I've been in my share of relationships and been out of them as well. Now, granted, some of them weren't as easy as just saying, it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun, talk to you later. Some of them required changes of leases and things like that. But if you know that this is your plan, like, I need to get out of the situation, start making your plan to get out. Start putting yourself in position to be able to move once the lease is up. Start saving money. Start looking for where you want to live. Take an extra job to give yourself that extra income so that you can do the, buy your new home or do your, your first and last month rent or whatever you need to do. But act. Take action. Because it's really hard to accept what's going on, take ownership of your position, what you did, your part in whatever situation you happen to be in, and then not to act. So once you start to take action, your life will be so much greater. Your life will improve. Your disposition will improve. You will no longer just be existing. You will no longer just be going through the motions. See, when you're going through the motions, that means there's already a motion and you're just in it. When you take action, you're not going through the motion. You're creating the motion. and you're growing forward, because life is going forward, period, whether you want it to or not. Change is going to happen whether it's you're doing or not. So since you're already going to have transition, you're already going to have change in your life, why not choose what you change? Why not choose how you move forward? Why not take the experience that you've had after you've looked at your part and realize, okay, this is what I did. Duly noted. I shan't ever do that again. Okay, well, you know what? This is what I did. And if I run into this situation again, next time I'll be more diligent about finding out more about the company. Or next time I'll be more diligent about finding out what the sales, how what's the pay scale is for that position. So, I'm not the only one making this amount and everybody else is up here because I didn't know what this job really paid and I didn't ask for, what I deserved. So that's the part of growing forward, when you learn. And you learn by looking at your part in it, because that requires you to step back from the situation and really look at the entire situation. And then you start to learn what you've done. And you might look at why you did it, but paying attention to what you did. So now if you look at why you did something and you pay attention to what you did in that situation, you know that when you encounter a situation similar to that in the future, you'll be wiser. You'll be in a better position because you'll have grown forward. Life is only giving you 2 lessons. Either learn or exist. I personally don't want to exist, because that means everything I'm doing is based on someone else's values, someone else's time, someone else's wants, needs, and desires. And I'm human. I have my own wants, needs, and desires. And I would like to be in control of my time. I know that, we all start out with something that we want to do. Now, granted, some of those things may or may not be, may or may not be feasible. But there's nothing wrong with trying to do them. We are powerful. We can control our lives. If you're not in a position that you want to be in, grow. Grow from the experience that you're having and move forward. Because time is going to continue to pass on and time moves forward. So time is going to continue to pass. And you're going to continue to age. So you're already going forward. Why not grow forward so that when you reach your tomorrow, you're better than you were today? So that you start focusing on intention, like why you do the things you do, why you want these things, why you want to have these things. Then when you start focusing and moving with intention, you start to grow forward, because you're looking at the mistakes of the past, realizing that you don't want to make those any longer, and you start to take steps not to do those things. When you see things that start to look familiar to some mistakes that you had before, you start to navigate around those things, because we all know what our triggers are. That's like when you were in the 3rd grade and the little boy behind you would always pull your hair. You knew exactly what to say to him to crush his feelings. You knew exactly what to say to him to make him feel so bad that he didn't bother you anymore. That's because you knew what your power was. See, when we start out as kids, we're all very powerful. We all think we can do everything in the world, and it's not until people start to tell us who we're not, and we buy into it, that we start to give our power away. We give our power away to look for approval, to gain acceptance, to find love. And the thing is, we're giving our power away, but we're not really getting the approval we would like. It's an empty approval, because they're only approving as long as we do those things they want. We give our power away to be loved. What we're receiving in exchange for our power is affection, maybe security, financial security, But we gave away our power, which means we gave away the amount of respect they had for us. If a person knows that they can treat you any kind of way, they will if you give them long enough. So I want to say, learn to grow forward and stop giving your power away. That's all I have today. So let's go back over those 3 things. You want to accept what is, acknowledge and take ownership of your actions. So that's acceptance, acknowledgement, and you want to act. You want to have some action behind what it is you have ascertained, what you've learned. And then when you start to act different, you'll start to get different, and your life will blossom. Well, it's been real and it's been fun. Most importantly, it's been real fun. And I will tell you until next time, be bold, be sincere, and most importantly, be you. Sincerely, Keanu.